I could either blow my cover or let the poor man bleed out. "Damn it," I griped, putting the camera down. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, then scrounged around my back seat for the extra T-shirt I always kept there. I quickly filled the dispatch operator in on what had happened while racing down the sidewalk to get to Kicksmiller. He was still lost in his own turmoil and didn't notice me kneeling beside him until I placed the folded T-shirt over his wound and began applying hard, direct pressure. "Who the hell are you?" he groaned, his eyes fluttering open and closed. Once I finished up my 911 call, I replied, "My name's Jane. I was out walking and noticed you were hurt. I've called for an ambulance and the police." Kicksmiller's eyes flew open. No, police." "Sir, you've been stabbed." "I fell," he cried, his doughy gray face dripping with sweat. "On a knife?" "I fell, damn you." I sighed. "Whatever you say." I wished he'd just pass out already. After a few minutes of listening to his idiotic, near-delirious ranting, I was ready to kill this guy myself. Pompous ass. He kept complaining I was pushing too hard and that I had him in an uncomfortable position. Thank goodness the police came screeching up when they did. A uniformed officer leapt out of his car and came running toward us. "My name's Officer Benton. I'm responding to a dispatch call about an assault. And you are—" "Juliet Langley," I replied quietly. "This man has been stabbed." Kicksmiller, unfortunately, heard me and moaned, "I thought your name was Jane." As we were speaking, an ambulance pulled up and 2 EMTs came wheeling a gurney through the yard. One of them said, "We'll take over from here, ma'am." I stood and stepped back so the EMTs could tend to Kicksmiller's wound. The uniform pulled me aside. "What happened here, Miss Langley?" "The woman who owns this house, Vanessa Barry, stabbed Kicksmiller there and ran off down the street. She—" "No!" screeched Kicksmiller, pointing an accusing finger at me. "She stabbed me." "What?" I cried. "You need to get your story straight, ass clown. You just told me you fell." Officer Benton's eyes narrowed at me. "Why would he say that you stabbed him? Did you?" This was not going well. Maya would not be pleased. I replied calmly, "No, I didn't. He and his girlfriend got into a squabble and she stabbed him." "That is an outright lie," Kicksmiller sputtered as the EMT struggled to get his blubbery form onto the gurney. "I was minding my own business and this woman ran up and stabbed me. Look, my blood is all over her hands. Do you know who I am? Walter Kicksmiller, CEO of Kicksmiller Construction. I will have your badge for this." I fired back. "A big shot like you was in this neighborhood after dark, minding your own business. Who's the dirty liar now? And your blood is on my hands from me trying to help you." Officer Benton said to me, "We're going to have to figure this out at the station. Come with me?" My mouth dropped open. I was being taken to jail for not letting that son of a bitch Kicksmiller bleed out on the lawn? Incensed, I screamed at Kicksmiller as the EMTs were rolling him toward the waiting ambulance. "You fat bastard! I was trying to save your life. See if I ever do that again." "That's enough, ma'am. Hands behind your back, please." The cop snapped cuffs onto my wrists. "I'm not going to place you under arrest yet, but you seem to be getting a little out of control." Damn it to hell! This was not happening. My head was spinning so fast I couldn't keep my wits about me as the officer began leading me to his police cruiser. Several things ran through my mind, from Maya firing me, to me losing my PI license on the first day no less, to Stafford finding out I got cuffed, to Pete finding out I witnessed a stabbing and got cuffed. And, worst of all, Ryder would undoubtedly hear about this and make a point to come see me at the station just to laugh his ass off at my misfortune. "Wait," I cried, stopping on the sidewalk. "I have the stabbing on video." Officer Benton looked at me like I had two heads. "Why on earth did you film yourself stabbing someone?" Nearly spitting out a biting comment about him jumping to ridiculous conclusions about my alleged guilt, I instead used every last bit of patience I had to say, "I'm a licensed PI, and I was here legally, hired by Kicksmiller's wife to get a photo."